You know, Paul, when Dean and I came to you looking for our next rig, we had a pretty good idea of what we wanted. We put our brains together. What can somebody expect? You know, there's a lot of information on the internet these days, but some of it, you know, some of it's real good and some of it's not so good.
Yeah, the internet is a wonderful thing, but it can be information overload. There's folks on there like you and like some of our other professional guides who use our equipment every day. They've had multiple generations of boats, so they know what they want when they come to us, and it's just a matter of designing. But we also have folks that we have to meet at the level of this is their first boat or maybe their second boat. They've had good and bad experiences, and they tend to go on the internet looking for information, and there's a lot of misinformation out there as well. What works for a guy posting from southern Mississippi may not be what works on the Great Lakes, or what a guy posts up from Washington State running the Columbia River isn't necessarily what a guy running Chesapeake Bay needs. And so one of the things we've actually made a mission at Phowler is we listen to our customers, we listen to the professional guides that we work with every day, and we collect that information. We travel around the country, visit our customers to understand beyond what we do right here in the Midwest, what those needs are nationwide. We do 100+ boats a year. We rig them, we test them, we know what they do for speed, we know what kind of loads they'll carry, we know how they function in different environments, like your boat, like the boats we send out east, like the boats we send down south and west. So we try to guide customers through that and give them very realistic, on the water, tested data, so they can make those decisions about what that boat is going to do, what it won't do, if they need to step up a class in motor, if they need to consider a different option, because we get that all the time. We get trade-in boats where a guy took one person's advice over the internet, bought it hook, line, and sinker, buys the boat, and guess what? It doesn't function. He got a great sales pitch, but the boat doesn't work. We're too small to be able to sell boats that way. When you're only doing 75 or 100 complete rigs a year, we need to make sure our boats do what they say they're going to do. That's what brings customers back to us and brings their referrals.
What's been your favorite thing that working with Phowler to get this boat to where you have it today?
Definitely the customer service. Paul Willging has been great throughout the whole process, you know, designing and building the boat the way I want it, putting the, you know, from the blind to the seats to the lights inside the boat. It's been a simple, friendly process, and it was built the way I wanted it to be built for what for the type of hunting that I do.
Sure. Okay. Thanks for letting us take a look at your boat.
Thank you.
When we start doing a complete fishing rig, it's a little bit different animal than our hunting rigs with camo paint and all that. But bass fishermen also have particular needs when it comes to how a Phowler boat's going to be used in shallow water. So you'll notice this is our Phowler, trademark Phowler Extreme hull, but we've decked out the interior and customized it with a long front deck for a bow-mounted trolling motor to get up there where you can reach over the front of the boat, fish a couple of people on the front. This one's equipped with a center console and a storage box in the middle that could also be converted to a live well if someone wants to keep fish. HydroTurf, so it's cool during the summer, seating for 2 to 3 people. Nice big rear casting deck. Again, all the creature comforts of a fully decked out bass boat, but a bass boat you can run through the stumps at 20 miles an hour without leaving half of it behind. This has become a very growing market for us. We're doing more and more of these types of shallow water fishing boats. One of the things at Phowler is we try to match the boat with, you know, the motor that's going to get the best performance. And of course, one of our mainstays is the ProDrive shallow water outboard. We were one of the first to begin equipping boats with them in 2003 when the ProDrive really kind of took the market by storm. So we've been getting more and more requests, you know, for ProDrives on fishing rigs for guys who want to get back in the slop, get back in the logs, for primary fishing rigs where you wouldn't dare to take a big bass boat with an outboard on it. So we've been playing around and doing more and more of these bass fishing custom rigs with ProDrive shallow water outboards, and the customers are absolutely thrilled with where they can go with them. Again, at Phowler Boats, if you can dream it up, we can build it. So this is a good example. This is a customer with a very specific need for a tunnel hull. Our base Extreme hull is very well suited for putting a tunnel in. So this one, we put flotation pods on the back to give them that extra lift, because again, when you put a tunnel in, you take surface area out of the bottom of the boat. So we want to give them the minimum amount of draft as possible. Then we custom designed a tunnel. This particular boat's getting a 90 horse outboard with a jack plate to allow him to run a tunnel hull in shallow, run a prop drive in shallow. So again, you can dream it up, we can design it, and we can build it. This is another example of the custom work we do. This is one of our 16-foot Prowler Extreme, but the customer had a specific need. He lives in northern Minnesota. The boat's going to be stored outside all winter. So he wanted a custom hardcover made that he could use for trailering and for storage that would cover not just the cockpit, but the whole blind. They get heavy snow. He didn't want to have to be worried about cleaning fabric off. So again, he was able to tell us what it needed to do. We were able to design it. When this is finished, it'll have locking hasps so he can lock everything up, and the boat will be secure all winter long or when he travels. Like I said, our Phowler Extremes and our Phowler Sneak Boats are just another option in our line. Once they get finished on this section, then we get into the finishing work. So let's go back over to the showroom and talk about option selection.
You know, Paul, I placed my order now with you, and where do we start after we've decided what type of boat's going to meet my situation?
Once we've been through the design phase with somebody, then kind of comes the fun part, which is, okay, now we know what your boat needs to be and how it's going to function. Now, how are we going to dress this baby out? So again, one of the nice things about Phowler, we do everything in-house. So the next step is we start talking about camel paints, and you know, are they going to go with just our standard green, and really anything in between, a grass pattern if they're marshy, maybe what we call our duck blind pattern if they're going to be kind of a mix, timber patterns. Basically, if a guy can send us a picture, we can custom do the paint to match their background. HydroTurf, you know, they want floor covering in the boat. That's really nice. It keeps the boat quiet so they can pick out the color that's going to best fit their background and their needs. Right down to the camel fabric. You know, we stock and we're licensed with Mossy Oak, so we can go from their duck blind fabric to their new blades fabric, original shadow grass. Those are all things we walk through with the customer. And again, we talk with them about what are the backgrounds you need to match? How are we going to conceal this thing the best? So that's the next step in the process. From there, you know, some customers like to do their own dressing out of the boat. Some of them want us to do it start to finish if they're doing a boat and blind setup. So we have everything available that we actually use on our boats in-house. You know, we just got done looking at a blind that's, you know, just about finished and the production process. And then again, we talked about paint and turf. Now it's time to dress the boat out. And customers can come to us for all of their finishing supplies. We like Rafa grass. It's got a natural waxy property, so it doesn't add a whole lot of weight when it gets wet. It dries out quickly. Unlike heavier materials that tend to hold water, it cuts down on the boat weight. The key to grassing a boat is to install this stuff and get it where it stays and then layer it. And you can see we have all different colors to match just about any background. So we can do the grassing for the customer. They can buy it. They can do it themselves. If they need more later, they can always call us and we can ship out to them whatever they need to freshen it up from year to year. But again, it's part of our mission to make sure that we supply or can supply everything that customer needs right here in-house. Mike, you know, now we've talked about the design process like you folks went through and picking out colors and now we get into the nitty-gritty details of the things that really complete a complete hunting rig or fishing rig, like the lighting. You know, we have in the store a complete selection of LED lights, from hard mount lights like this for interior lights, round lights, overhead dome lights for blinds. And again, one of the things we do is we walk through customers and say, what are your lighting needs? Do you need overhead light? Do you need ambient light, step light? And we can guide them through all the different options. We really like using LEDs because they're kind of the current thing. The prices on them have come down and they're very reasonable. And two, they don't draw much power when you're sitting out there in the night. You come over, then we start talking about driving light. There's a lot of stuff out there on the internet these days. One of our mainstays are the Go-Light remote control spotlights, because they'll pick stuff up a quarter to a half a mile away. They're removable, they're remote control, so the driver has control of the light and they're not trying to hold, we've all done it, hold that handheld spotlight up as high as you can so it don't flash off. These eliminate that. There's some really neat new stuff coming out with LEDs. These are Baja Design LEDs. We use these a lot for fixed lights. We have these made specifically for Phowler with a particular combination of driving lights and spotlights so that they have really good lighting conditions for driving in open water. Again, there's a lot of wonderful stuff out there on the internet, but a lot of it is knockoffs that comes in from overseas. The stuff that we stock and recommend is stuff we use on the water that's field tested, we know it's going to hold up and it's not going to break. One of our custom features that we do is waterproof LED light strips. These have become quite popular. A few years ago you couldn't hardly afford to put these in a boat, but the price has come down and we've worked out some supply arrangements. These are very versatile for lighting up a boat. They draw very little voltage, they're fairly easy to install, so it's become a much more popular option for interior lighting in our boats. When we get into the interior of a boat, again, up north we hunt cold conditions, so most guys are going to want some type of heater setups. A lot of guys will do that setup themselves, but one of the things anyone who's tried to put a heating system together for a duck blind knows trying to track down all the parts is a real pain. So again, we supply all the fittings, all of the things that guys would have to track down, so they can come in and either order them from us or pick them right out from the store to put a complete system together. Everything from cooker style sunflower heaters to tank top heaters, double heaters. We do custom heater boxes for safety. Safety is always a big issue when you're running a heater in a boat. So a lot of guys like the high output sunflower heaters, but anyone who knows if you drop a piece of grass on them or the dog kicks them. So we make custom heater boxes. We also make custom heater systems with retractable heaters like in some of our big guide rigs. Propane tank holders. We designed our own where the tank just slides in and out of it, put a camel cover on it, and you're ready to go. There's no bolts, there's no nothing to undo to get it in and out. It makes it very easy. So again, we can take a customer from start to finish, or they can buy pieces and do it themselves. Hey folks, welcome to the Phowler store. What we stock in our Phowler store is the stuff we actually use, from Bigfoot decoys to Rothagrass, lighting, trailering accessories, motor covers, you name it. If you use it in a real hunting and fishing situation with a Phowler boat, you can find it here at the Phowler store. Check us out on the web, www.phowlerboatcompany.com, and you'll find a link to our web store.
You treat me like some plain John Doe.